Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Shay and I'm back with another video. I wanted to hop on today because there's something that I've never shared on a platform like this. And it's something that is not normally talked about a lot because, of course, in social media, there's all this content that's being pushed out to us that is just a bunch of stuff. You know, you log on to social media and it's just whatever you want. You type in something and it's you get whatever you want. And I love that about social media. If there's something that you want to learn about somebody's life, you just type that in and boom. Or the things that are trending now, dances, cooking, and all of that. But my story, but my situation that I would love to share now that I've been able to share it for a long time. So excuse me for the jumping all around, but domestic violence, that's what I want to share. My story has been out there for a while. I am a 15-year survivor, but being a survivor is you're always, you're not always a survivor, but you are someone who has a story. And sometimes we don't share that story because of embarrassment or the stigma or whatever comes along with, you being a survivor. And coming from someone who was in that environment, it's something that is not always, it's not a happy occasion because, it's one of those things where a person is getting hurt and it's something that if no one knows in your circle, it's not something that's easily shared. I think that's the right word. It's not easily shared. And because these stories stay in the background of our lives, a lot of people are not set free because we're not sharing our story. So I said, you know what? I want to be an agent of change in this area and I want to share my story because there is someone out there who will be able to relate to my story. It may not have happened the same way it happened to them, but there will be some similar things. And me sharing my story might break the chain for someone else to come out and share their story. So my story began, let's see, in 2008 when I reconnected with my child's father. And it was one of those things where, for those who understand, reconnecting with your ex or someone who you had a child with or something like that, you get a new lease on life and you think things are different. And, hey, you move forward and you think that it's about to be a beautiful life. So we were together from the late 90s and I got pregnant with my daughter in 99 and we were together. And then once I got pregnant, things kind of start falling apart. And, it was just one of those things where I don't know if he was cheating, he might have been cheating. And we just basically just grew apart. So he went on with his life, moved back to the East Coast. I stayed here where I am in Texas and it was just fine. Everything. Look, I was like, look, I'm going to take care of my baby and do whatever I have to do. There were signs, I must say, before I had my daughter. And now that I look back, and it's always one of those things where you look back on your story and you're like, man, there was something going on back there that I didn't catch or just decided to shove it under the rug. As a young person, as a young woman, there are things that just whoever is going through it. It doesn't have to just necessarily be a woman, but I am a woman and I'm going to share my side of the story, who goes through those things. And it's not to say that you don't think that you're not getting hurt. It's just you feel like it's just a part of your life. You just literally feel like, okay, he did this to me, but okay, I'm just going to move forward. And tomorrow is a new day and we're just going to move forward. You're afraid in that moment, but you're like, it for some reason it literally just fleets. It just you're going through the pain, you're going through the suffering this day or when it's happening, and then all of a sudden you just move forward with the next day. And it's not to say the abuse would have happened the next day or the fifth day or the sixth day or maybe in 2 weeks or 2 months, but there's something that does trigger happen again. And you're like, okay, it's just a part of life. So it may not be a situation where someone is being abused on an everyday basis or every, however the situation is for them. But it was one of those things where I literally just blocked it out. I did not concern myself with it, even though I know that it was going on. So I know that was a lot, but when I think about it now, oh, and I've thought about it, later as well. But as I'm sharing my story, I think about the situation where I went out with some friends and we hung out till late in the, not in the morning, but late, and you come in with your girlfriends and you go, and I can't, you come in and it's just like a normal night. But I came in one night and, child, let me tell you something. This man had stuff thrown all over that house. It looked like the place had been robbed. At first, when I walked in, I was like, "Oh my gosh, have we been robbed?" Because I was living with him at that time. I didn't explain that, but yes, we were living together back in '98, and I was like, "What is happening here?" This might have been '97, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what is going on? Why is all of our stuff everywhere? Ironing board over here, all on the ground, just stuff just everywhere, clothes." And I was like, what's going on? And I didn't know that man was having an episode with me not even there. He was upset. I guess because I had came in late. Okay, we go to bed, we wake up the next day, and I'm like I said, you just move forward. Nothing is really explained, but you just want to know, like, hey, what's going on? Is everything okay here? Ain't nobody broke into that apartment or anything like that. It was just him having one of those episodes. And another time was when we were in an intimate moment. And when you're intimate with someone, you're okay, it's supposed to be a nice feeling, you love the person and things like that. And sometimes people like to do things that are a little bit more excessive. This was not one of those moments where we're both in the same mind frame and wanting to do a little more. Of course, just two people, there's nothing else, no one there in the room, no toys, nothing like that. It was just us in the moment. And then all of a sudden I decided, I believe, y'all have to bear with me. I believe that either I don't know if I wanted to, stop, or something happened where the man began to strangle me. I just know that there was pressure on my neck. And I don't know what was going on in that moment. And I didn't know if I was going to die, to be honest. But it scared the living daylights out of me. And I literally just was like, okay, you know how your eyes get really big and you're like, okay, why is so much pressure being applied to my neck? And I was trying to figure out what was happening. And the pressure was getting tighter and tighter. And then it was released. So I knew that everything was, when I say fine, I mean, I wasn't dead in that moment. But the pressure was getting applied to my neck heavily, the squeeze was getting tighter and tighter. And I'm 25 maybe at that time. And I'm just, living my woohoo. I'm 25. I'm out on my own. I'm doing my own thing. I'm living with my boyfriend, and things are, what they are. And once again, we're just, living our lives. And we moved from that place we were at to another location. And I found out I was pregnant in late '98. And I had my daughter in '99. So while I was pregnant, there was just things that, of course, we women understand, coming in late, not being attracted to you, or just the things that just happen sometimes in relationships. You just start growing apart. Things are just not working out right, and you understand. So I moved out. I'm trying not to make this story like excessively long on the first video, but it was just one of those things where I was like, I'm almost 6 months pregnant. I'm like, I cannot continue to go through this stress. So I moved back home, well, to my grandmother, because my grandmother raised me. And I just decided to just be free from all the pressure and all of the arguments and the back and forth, because I really wanted to have a healthy pregnancy. So I just decided to live with my grandmother. She said, "Hey, just come on back home." And so years passed. My daughter's growing up, and my ex boyfriend, we reconnected, and this was around '08. So we reconnected and we got married. He asked me to marry him. He literally, when he landed, because he was overseas working, and he came back um, to the States, and we literally just got married because he was on his rest and relaxation, like R&R time. And we reconnected, and we just like we fell in love like all over again, which I thought. So when we reconnected, he literally asked me to marry him in the airport. Literally, when we got to baggage claim, it was like overwhelming. It was, to me, it was beautiful because, when someone is asking you to marry them and you love them, it doesn't matter where that happens, and it doesn't, and social media wasn't like it is now, where we're doing all of these, engagement celebrations and things like that. It wasn't like that. And even if it was, a person who loves you and you love them and they ask you to marry them, if you want to be married to them, it's a beautiful time. It didn't even it didn't matter if it was at a park and or whatever, but it was in the airport. And it's so funny because this lady said, "Does he have a brother?" And I just thought that was so cute, of course, because we're in baggage claim. This is, everybody's there. People just getting off the plane and things like that. So I thought that was really special. So of course, when you're sharing your domestic violence story, there are some good moments, and you just wish that they could have lasted for a lifetime, but here we are. So we reconnected. We just started to just reminisce. We just got some things in order. We started going to Christian counseling. We started going to counseling, and we started going to church together, and all of that good stuff. And my daughter was very happy because that's her dad. So I thought my knight in shining armor had reappeared, and we're going to ride off into the sunset. And hey, we were going to enjoy life. We had our daughter together. Of course, we weren't thinking about any more children or anything like that. But we were at a point in our lives where we knew that we wanted to be together forever. So we got together, things started working. Everything is beautiful. Everyone's happy for us because they knew him from back in the day. Because when we started, dating, they knew that if they saw me, they saw him. They saw him, they saw me. We were thick as thieves, as people used to say back in the day. And it was wonderful, y'all. It was amazing. It was great. I just knew that this was my husband. We shared the same, the likes and the things that we love. We love travel. We love, partying, dancing, and things like that, sharing time with family and friends. We really were together. We were, like they say, kindred spirit. I don't know what they call it, but we were really together. We loved each other. So after we got married, we got into our home, and hey, here we go. We're supposed to live our lives. So from 2008, here we go. I am a married woman. I'm happy. Thankful. I got my family and friends. I got my daughter. We're all healthy. Where things are going great. And then almost 6 months into the marriage, things started to look a little different. And I'm like, well, okay, all right, here we go. So the first thing that really comes to mind is, the jealousy. That's the first thing. And it was not to say that it wasn't there before, but once again, I'm young, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna, just put it back here. It's not gonna stay up here. I'm just gonna put it back here. And the jealousy started to creep back in. And I'm saying to myself, why in the world would I wait all of this time to marry someone just to go cheat? So, y'all, here we go. One of the things, I think we were in a store one time, and this man thought someone was talking to me, and it was just one of those, not a big blow up, but just enough of a blow up to be like, hey, what's going on here? Why is this happening? So we get home, blow it off, and here we go. Another time I got to we got to church, because we were going to church. That's one thing we were going to do. We were going to go to church. And we're in the praise and worship time. And what happens normally when you're at praise and worship? You raise your hands, you reverence the Lord, you give thanks, the spirit is in the room, you're praying, you're just singing the song along with the choir or the praise team. At that time I think there were still choirs. And so I raise my hands and I'm just worshiping along just like I normally do. I am a praise and worship person. I raise my hands, I surrender to the Father, and I'm set up. I'm just there worshiping with the Father. So we get ready to leave. I think women before what happened was there was some gentleman who walked. You know how sometimes in the church, it's like a theater. It's like a movie theater. Churches have went into that. They no longer had the pews. They have the theater seats. So this is how the church was. They had the theater seats, but they have a large aisle in between sections. So there was this man who came through and walked in front of us, and I'm worshiping. Like I said, I'm worshiping. I'm not doing anything else. I'm worshiping. I didn't even, you know how you see somebody out of your, well, I guess they call it peripheral vision, but just coming around and in the front of you and walking past you. Do you know this man accused me of giving him a signal that I wanted to be with him? Be with that man. This man accused me after church of giving a man walking through the aisle, that I was giving him a signal. So that right there, I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? You think I'm giving somebody a signal to like say, hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm like, y'all, what is happening here? And he told my friends, because we were really connected with, several people at the church. We had really, really close friends that we loved. We went to eat over each other's houses. There's things that we were like family. It was like sisterhood and brotherhood. And this man literally said that I gave that man that walked through the aisle. My ex-husband said I gave this man who walked through the aisle a signal that I was trying to talk to him. It was getting low. It was getting very, very low. And I was like, now, wait a minute. Now, something about this ain't right. I'm starting to get accused of things that I'm really not understanding. So I don't want to make this part one video too long, but I had to come on and just start it and just start to share about the things that I experienced and how what I came out of what I started due to what I experienced being in a domestic violence situation. So y'all, I just want to make this video not too long. I just want to come in and just say that there is someone out there who has a story, who has not shared their story because they feel embarrassed. They feel that, they will be labeled. They feel as if they don't know when the right time is. Safety is the most important part. If you're safe and if you're long gone from your abuser in jail, your abuser in another state, another country, wherever, this continent, and you want to share, it's time to share your story. That's the reason why I'm on here. We're going to build up to something, but I had to at least come on and share the beginning and how things started and why I was blinded, the rose colored glasses on, trying to figure out like what's happening to me. I'm 25 years old. I'm thinking my life is, I'm grown and I'm living my life the way I want to. Didn't know that I was spiraling into something that could have took me out. And there are a lot of people in this world right now whose stories will free them if they share. And I know that many other people have shared their domestic violence story, but sometimes you don't get a chance to see it. And I hope that someone sees this video and can relate and put in the comments what they went through and share, and how important and in sharing your story it is, because it's important. We're released from things when we share and we talk to others And with these platforms these days, it is a mecca of ways that we can join together in community and stay connected and share and build each other up. That's what we got to do. We've got to build each other up. There's so much crap going on in social media now. I mean, there's struggle content, there's scams, and every day there's something. Every minute somebody's doing something crazy. But what about the people who genuinely want to share their story and build community? So that's what I want to build this platform on. I want to share my story. I want to hear your story. Build each other up, because all of the other content, we're inundated. It's like turn on a fire hydrant and trying to drink out of it. We're just inundated with crazy content. But what about the content where people are struggling to come to grips with no longer being in that environment, but don't know where to start, don't know how to get out? What about those people who have already gotten out, but don't know where to go and what to do? So this is why the community that we're going to build together is going to be so important, so that it can happen. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to my story. I am so, so grateful for your time, and I will be back with part 2. All right, guys, peace.